The metallic taste hit my tongue again, making me push away my half-eaten dinner. My father watched intently from across the table, his eyes following my every move, while my mother chatted about her day at work. "Emily, you've barely touched your food," he said, his voice carrying that familiar edge of concern that never quite reached his eyes. "Are you feeling sick again?" I was, for the third time this week, but I'd learned that saying so only led to more special meals prepared by my father, each one leaving me progressively weaker. "I'm fine," I lied, catching my mother's warning glance. At 22, I still lived at home while finishing my nursing degree, a decision I was increasingly regretting. The symptoms had started 3 months ago. First came the unexplained nausea, then the crushing fatigue. My mother dismissed it as stress from my studies. My father insisted on cooking all my meals, claiming it would help me recover. But I only got worse. "Maybe you should take a break from school," my father suggested, spooning more food onto my plate. "Focus on getting better." The thought of dropping out of nursing school made my stomach clench, or maybe it was whatever he put in my food this time. Later that night, I locked myself in the bathroom, violently ill again. My mother's voice came through the door. "Emily, you're being dramatic. It's just anxiety." But I knew better. My nursing training hadn't been wasted. The metallic taste, the progressive weakness, the symptoms that got worse with every meal my father prepared, it all pointed to something sinister. The next morning, I waited until they left for work before calling Dr. Anderson's office. He'd been my doctor since childhood, the only medical professional my father couldn't charm or manipulate. "Emily?" His familiar voice carried genuine concern. "What's wrong?" "I need blood tests," I whispered despite being alone in the house. "And I need you not to tell my parents." There was a pause. "Are you in danger?" I think. My voice cracked. "I think someone's poisoning me." The silence that followed felt endless. "Come in now," he said finally. "I'll clear my schedule." At the clinic, I told him everything. The metallic taste, the progressive weakness, how the symptoms worsened after meals my father prepared, how my mother insisted it was all in my head. Dr. Anderson listened intently, his expression growing darker. "We'll run a full toxicology panel," he said, reaching for his prescription pad. "And Emily, don't eat anything else at home, not even a glass of water." The next day, I sat in his office, watching his face as he reviewed my test results. The color drained from his features as he scrolled through the report. "Emily," he said slowly, "these levels of heavy metals in your system, they're not accidental." My hands began to shake. "So I'm not crazy?" "No," he said firmly, reaching for his phone. "This isn't in your head. And as your doctor, I'm legally required to report this. These levels indicate deliberate, long-term poisoning." "My father," I whispered, the truth I'd been avoiding finally spoken aloud. "Yes," Dr. Anderson confirmed, his voice grim. "And given these numbers, he's been doing it for months. If he'd waited much longer to come in." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. As he dialed the police, I sat there, numb. My father, who insisted on cooking all my meals. My mother, who told me I was being dramatic. How long had they known? How long had they planned this? The sound of Dr. Anderson's voice speaking to the authorities brought me back to reality. "Yes, I have documented evidence of intentional heavy metal poisoning. The patient is here now. Yes, I believe she's in immediate danger." This was really happening. My father had tried to kill me, my mother had helped cover it up, and now there was no going back. As Dr. Anderson arranged for my immediate admission to the hospital, I realized my life as I knew it was over. But at least I would live to see tomorrow. The hospital room felt safer than my bedroom had in months. As I lay there watching the IV drip chelation therapy into my veins, Detective Martinez sat beside my bed, recording every detail of my statement. "Your father started preparing all your meals 3 months ago?" she asked, her pen moving steadily across her notepad. "Yes," I replied, my voice stronger now that I was receiving treatment. "He said he was worried about my health. That's when everything got worse." The detective's eyes narrowed. "And your mother?" I twisted the hospital blanket between my fingers. She kept saying I was imagining things, that I was being dramatic, even when I could barely walk up the stairs. A knock at the door interrupted us. Dr. Anderson entered, holding new test results. His face was grim. "We found arsenic," he announced, handing the report to Detective Martinez, "along with significant levels of lead and mercury. The concentration suggests systematic administration over several months." The detective's expression hardened as she reviewed the numbers. This is attempted murder, she stated flatly. Premeditated and carefully executed. My phone buzzed on the bedside table, another message from my mother. I'd received dozens since being admitted to the hospital. Emily, please come home. Your father is worried sick. We can work this out as a family. Detective Martinez read the message over my shoulder. Have they been sending these all day? I nodded, showing her the earlier texts. You're tearing this family apart. Dr. Anderson is overreacting. Your father only wanted to help you. Help me? I laughed bitterly. By slowly poisoning me to death? The detective took photos of all the messages, adding them to her evidence file. We've executed a search warrant on your house, she informed me. The forensics team found concerning levels of heavy metals in the cooking equipment your father used to prepare your meals, and only your meals. My hands started shaking again. He was really trying to kill me. Yes, she confirmed, and we need to understand why. The answer came later that evening when the detective returned with a stack of papers. We found these in your father's home office, she said, spreading documents across my hospital tray. Life insurance policies. All taken out on you within the last year. The total payout would have been over $2 million. I stared at the papers, my father's signature stark against the white forms. He planned this, I whispered. All of it. There's more, Detective Martinez continued. We found evidence that your father has significant gambling debts. He's underwater on multiple loans. The insurance payout would have solved all his financial problems. A memory surfaced. My father insisting I move back home after college instead of taking that job offer in Seattle. He needed me close, I realized, to control what I ate. Exactly, the detective confirmed. This was calculated, methodical, and completely premeditated. Another text from my mother lit up my phone. The police are making terrible accusations. Your father loves you. Don't do this to us. Detective Martinez read it and immediately called someone. We need to revoke Sandra Miller's phone privileges, she said into her phone. Yes, both of them. They're still trying to manipulate the victim. I looked up sharply. They've been arrested? She nodded. Your parents were taken into custody this afternoon. Your father is being charged with attempted murder and insurance fraud. Your mother as an accessory. We found evidence she knew about the poisoning and helped cover it up. The room started spinning. Despite everything, some part of me had hoped there was another explanation. That my mother was just in denial, not actively participating in my attempted murder. Emily, Dr. Anderson's voice cut through my thoughts. He had returned with more test results. Your latest numbers are improving with treatment. But you need to understand, if you hadn't come in when you did, if you'd eaten even a few more meals at that house, I'd be dead. I finished quietly. He nodded solemnly. Your father was increasing the doses. The progression in your blood work is clear. He was getting impatient. Detective Martinez added another document to the pile. A bank notice of imminent foreclosure on my parents' house. The deadline was next month, she explained. We believe that was his timeline. I closed my eyes, remembering my father's increasing insistence that I eat every bite of his specially prepared meals. His frustration when I started feeling too sick to finish them. The way he watched me at the dinner table. He was watching me die, I said, the full horror of it finally hitting me. Every day, sitting across the table, watching as he killed me slowly. And Mom just told me to stop complaining. Dr. Anderson placed a gentle hand on my shoulder. You're safe now, he assured me. And your nursing training probably saved your life. You recognized the symptoms before it was too late. The irony, I laughed weakly. Dad always said nursing school was a waste of time. He wanted me to drop out and stay home. Now, I know why. Detective Martinez gathered her evidence files. We'll need you to testify, she said kindly. But with these documents, the forensic evidence, and your medical records, they're looking at significant prison time. They can't hurt you anymore. As they left my room, I picked up my phone and blocked both my parents' numbers. The family I knew was gone, replaced by the truth of who they really were. But at least I was alive to rebuild my life without them. 6 months later, I stood outside the courthouse, ripping my victim impact statement with trembling hands. The trial had been brutal. Watching my father's calm facade crack under cross-examination, seeing my mother's tears as her role in the poisoning was exposed. You ready? Sarah, my victim advocate, asked gently. She'd been my rock throughout the proceedings, helping me navigate the legal system and my own trauma. As I'll ever be, I replied, straightening my shoulders. Inside, the courtroom was packed. My story had made national headlines. Father poisons nursing student daughter for insurance money. The prosecution had painted a detailed picture of my father's calculated plan, the financial troubles, the insurance policies, the systematic poisoning disguised as parental concern. My father sat stone-faced as I approached the podium. My mother wouldn't look at me at all. Your Honor, I began, my voice stronger than I expected. 6 months ago, I discovered that the people who were supposed to love me most in this world had been slowly killing me. I detailed the physical effects, the weakness, the pain, the organ damage that would require lifelong monitoring. But more than that, I spoke about the psychological toll. Every time I sit down to eat, I think about those family dinners, my father watching me take each poisoned bite, my mother telling me to stop complaining as I grew sicker. They didn't just try to take my life, they took my ability to trust. The judge listened intently as I described my ongoing recovery, the therapy sessions, the nightmares, the way I still tested every meal for metal contamination, even though I knew it was irrational. But they failed, I concluded, looking directly at my parents for the first time. I survived, and I won't let what they did define my future. The judge's sentence exceeded even the prosecution's recommendations. My father received 25 years for attempted murder and insurance fraud. My mother got 15 years as an accessory. Both were ordered to pay restitution for my medical expenses. Emily, my mother called out as they were led away. We only wanted what was best. Save it. I cut her off. The only thing you wanted was money, and it cost you everything. Outside the courthouse, Dr. Anderson waited with unexpected news. The medical board reviewed your case, he said, handing me an envelope. They're offering you a full scholarship to complete your nursing degree, plus a guaranteed position at County General after graduation. I opened the letter with shaking hands, but I missed so much school during treatment. You'll have to make up some classes, he acknowledged. But Emily, your experience gives you a unique perspective. You'll understand patients in ways many nurses never will. He was right. During my recovery, I discovered my own strength. My ability to advocate for myself had saved my life. Now I could use that strength to advocate for others. 3 years later, I stood in the emergency department of County General, reviewing admission orders for my latest patient. The symptoms were familiar: progressive weakness, metallic taste, unexplained illness. Run a full toxicology panel, I instructed the lab tech, and paged Dr. Anderson for a consult. The patient, a young woman named Jessica, grabbed my hand. My husband says I'm being dramatic, she whispered, that it's all in my head. I squeezed her hand gently. I believe you, I told her, and we're going to find out what's really happening. Later that night, reviewing her test results with Dr. Anderson, I saw the same pattern of heavy metal poisoning that had nearly killed me. Call Detective Martinez, I said, reaching for the phone. She'll want to handle this personally. As I waited for the detective, I sat with Jessica, recognizing the fear and confusion in her eyes, the same emotions I'd felt 3 years ago. You're not crazy, I assured her. You're not alone, and we're going to make sure you're safe. Dr. Anderson watched from the doorway as I comforted her. You've come full circle, he observed later, from victim to protector. I nodded, thinking of all the patients I'd helped since earning my nursing license. Every time I spotted the signs of abuse or poisoning, every time I advocated for someone who couldn't speak for themselves, I proved that my parents' attempt to destroy me had only made me stronger. My father's poison had been meant to kill me. Instead, it had transformed me into someone who could save others. That was a kind of justice I hadn't expected, but one that gave meaning to my survival. As I finished my shift that morning, I passed the hospital's mission statement mounted on the wall: to heal, to help, to give hope. Once, my family had tried to take all free from me. Now, I gave them to others every day. That was the real antidote to poison, not just surviving, but turning survival into purpose.